Hey everyone, it's July 22nd, and that means that if today is your birthday, you share it with serial killer Marie-Madeleine Marguerite Brinvilliers, best known as the Marquise de Brinvilliers, who killed more than 50 victims in the 1600s. And there is going to be some terrible French pronunciation in this video about Brinvilliers, who's right up there. Born in Paris in 1630, she married the Marquis de Brinvilliers in 1651, who was then serving in the regiment of Normandy. She was regarded as a very beautiful woman in her era and was oft courted by the men of Paris. Their marriage was far from ideal, and when Brinvilliers was introduced to a friend of her husband in 1659, the two began a torrid affair that caused a scandal amongst the public. Her lover fled France to dodge his creditors, and her father was able to get him arrested, being thrown into the Bastille for a year. While there, he learned about poisons from a fellow prisoner, and when he was released, he and Brinvilliers hatched a plot to get revenge on her father. To prepare for poisoning her father, she began volunteering at a hospital so she would have access to the chemicals she needed, and began experimenting on the patients there to determine the best possible poison and dose to use, killing the poor and needy who had come to her for help. She murdered at least 50 patients while running her experiments. Brinvilliers and her lover decided they should also poison the rest of her family so she could inherit the entire estate. In 1666, preparations were complete, so she poisoned her father. 4 years later, she poisoned her two brothers with the help of their valet. Her lover suddenly died, and when investigating his estate, authorities found documents incriminating Brinvilliers and the valet for the murders of her father and brothers, as well as the poor patients she had killed during her research phase. Her brother's valet was arrested and tortured, and he ultimately confessed his role in the plot. Brinvilliers fled France and hid in England, moved on to Germany, and then back to France, where she hid in a convent. A policeman disguised himself as a priest to infiltrate the abbey, and she was captured. Among her belongings was a diary that included a full account of her crimes, and when Brinvilliers was caught, she tried to commit suicide but failed. She was ultimately taken to Paris, where she was beheaded and her body burned in 1676. Imagine that, a wealthy person facing the consequences of their own actions. Wonder what that's like. After her story became known, King Louis XIV began using food tasters to ensure he wouldn't fall victim to poison, and 36 others were rounded up and executed in an effort to purge the country of witches who used poison, which likely means there were 36 innocent victims of the whims of a mad king. Brinvilliers' story has been referenced in books by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle and Alexandre Dumas, as well as many contemporary works, including the anime Sailor Moon. If this is your birthday, I hope you have a great day. Leave me a comment so I can wish you a happy birthday. If you know somebody whose birthday it is today, send them this video so I can find out all about their birthday twin. And to Marguerite Brinvilliers, I say, happy birthday, you bastard.